I got off the plane, like these guys came up and started like speaking Spanish to me and this one girl that I was with, and we like didn't know what was going on. We didn't know they were like being creepy towards us, but they were. And so like we just thought everyone was like, we were like super friendly like to everyone. And I think it's just like knowing your place, like being kind but not like overly friendly to some people because they take it the wrong way at times. And I think the first few days, so my first day in the mission field, it was really hard. I got a parasite my first day and I didn't know about it. So I was walking around feeling like I was gonna pass out. I had to go to the bathroom like every 15 minutes. I felt terrible. Went to the bishop's house, they made a soup. I'm like eating the soup and I like look at my companion, I'm like, I can't eat anymore, like I feel so sick. And she's like, no, you have to eat everything. Then I throw up all over the bishop's table. This was my first day on the mission, meeting the bishop. He'd just given me a blessing. And then we walked to the apartment. I have a fever of like 103. The elders come over, give me a blessing. I sleep for 18 hours. I was super sick. I could barely like move. So I'm just thinking, what in the world am I doing here? Like, why did I want to go on a mission so bad? Like, this is so painful. Like, this hurts. And the first like couple of weeks were like that because the elders that got my results from the nurse, because I went to go get a test done for parasites, didn't tell the nurse that I had parasites. So I was walking around with, like, they didn't give me like medicine or anything like that because the nurse didn't know, the mission nurse. So I was sick for like the first 6 weeks. So that was really hard. And then when I got the medicine, it got a lot better. And as I opened up to the members, as I realized that it's okay if I don't speak Spanish perfectly, it's okay if I ask them what they just said so they can repeat it slowly to me. Some people would get upset, but the majority of the people were really understanding and very loving, and they even like would make jokes about it. And at first it was hard for me, but I really had to humble myself. And once I humbled myself, I feel that I felt more comfortable with the country, with the people, with the language, and I felt like I was really a missionary at that point. So I remember my second PA day very well. I went to the internet cafe and I just like was like, I'm not gonna lie, like this is so hard. And they, like, my companion had Josh Groban's You Raise Me Up like on her music thing. It was approved by the mission office. But I mean, and so like that song kept going through my head and I realized that I couldn't do this alone, that I needed Heavenly Father and I needed to like seek out help. And so once I realized that, it helped me to go to the Lord more. I realized I couldn't call my mom anymore. I couldn't go talk to my best friend, but that I needed to really build a relationship with God at that point in order to get through all of this, because it was really hard in the beginning to want to stay there and to be positive about it. And as I turned to Him, I was able to enjoy my mission a lot more. I think what surprised me a lot in the beginning is the form of transportation in the mission. So they have lots of buses, well, they're more like vans, big vans, and they just shove like 40 people in a van. And so you're just like really squished, and sometimes you're standing up or you're like crouched in the corner with all your groceries, or there's tuk-tuks. They're like these little tiny Jeeps. I don't know how like to describe the size of them, but they're not very big. It's like half of a car is like the size of it. And so it's like, it has 3 wheels, and so there's a driver and then there's you in the back. And I miss it so much. It's one of the best experiences, and like the wind is like in your face. And so I really like that about the mission. Also in Reu, well, we call it Reu. It's not just Retalhuleu. They say Reu always. almost said siempre, but is that they have a lot of temperature. They're like different climates. So my first area was like kind of chilly. Like it was hot, but it was cooler than most places in the mission. Then they have other places that are so hot that you get sunburnt and like super red in 2 hours just on the back of your neck. It's like the sun is just beating down on you. Then they have the mountains where you can freeze. It's like can get to like 40 degrees, and the elders mostly elders go there, and they're in sweaters and like they just freeze in their house, and they have heaters and like hot showers, and in like the hotter places they only have cold showers. They have no hot water unless you like boil it, which is what I would do sometimes, the shower. But yeah, and the members are incredible. They're so supportive. And the church, I think it's important to remember, and almost anywhere you go, that the church, when it started in the United States, I mean, it had difficulties and problems. People were still learning, like, about the church and the doctrine and some of the, like, rules that are set. And so, like, you have to be patient. I think is really important to remember. I mean, the church started in Guatemala in 1947. And so it's important to remember that a lot of these people have only been members for 10 years. They're really active people. And so, like, you have to be patient in teaching them the doctrine and teaching them why certain things are the way they are. And just remembering that they're learning it. It's new to their country. And so it's important to remember that, I feel.